Hi.
Morning.
Well, looks like a very bright morning in Sydney.
Hi.
And what is the situation there? Like, we know that the bilateral talks are going on right now, and we had Abhishek taking us through the points that we expect that are going to be discussed between the two Prime Minister. What does the situation seem like there right now?
Yes. Well, good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Sriya. It is sunny because the sun is sharp, but it's quite chilly too. So that's why you see the double layer of clothing on me. But I'm right outside the Admiralty House, and it's also called the Kiribati House. This is the residence of the Governor General here in New South Wales, and that's where the Guard of Honour was accorded to the Prime Minister a short while ago. There was a meet and greet and exchange of bouquets with the Governor General, and thereafter the bilaterals with Prime Minister Tony Albanese has already gotten underway. We are standing by to just enter this place in about 15 minutes from now so that there could be a joint press statement that we could bring to you. More importantly, I think the focus is going to be pushing economic trade, furthering economic trade and making it more robust, the economic engagement between India and Australia. I think that's going to dominate the discourse. India and Australia have realized that they need to be very strong partners, and with Prime Minister Tony Albanese saying that PM Modi is the boss, that's actually made the headlines across all the Australian papers today, all the channels. Everybody's talking about this one punchline by Prime Minister Tony Albanese. I think the inside track that we are given to understand is that the Australians, or perhaps the Australian political leadership, did not expect such a huge turnout, and never before have they actually seen such a huge turnout, and that too for the Prime Minister of another country. And when they came and saw the constituency, that is the Indian diaspora, yesterday, I think that has underlined and underscored the importance of not just the Indian diaspora, but also of India in the Indo-Pacific and also in the global discourse. And I think that's going to open up a lot of issues, thorny issues that should be settled. One of the engagements of the FIPIC in the Asia-Oceania region, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi got such warm reception and welcome from Prime Minister Marape and also the leaders from the nations of Palau and also Kiribati and Fiji, along with the other 11 or 12 nations, 14 nations overall, also has had a huge impact and perhaps will have a bearing on the bilaterals here. I think the engagement, like Prime Minister yesterday said, has to be on the basis of mutual trust and mutual respect. Trust and transparency have been issues which have been raised by the leadership, by the diaspora, and also I think it's a feedback that's come in, which has also gone to the Prime Minister, that the Indian systems in terms of setting up shop, running industries, or for Australian companies, Australian entrepreneurs, businessmen to engage with India across various sectors, there has to be a certain level of trust and transparency. And I think it swings both ways, and mutual respect. And that respect quotient, I think, with the diaspora event has really gone up. What happened yesterday, I've interacted with a lot of members of the Indian business community, or the Indian-Australian business community here, the Australian business community too, and also I had the chance to interact with some of the members of the First Nations. And it's been very, very interesting insights. There are very keen India watchers who for nearly a decade have been saying that India is the country to engage with, two vibrant democracies, those people who want to positively contribute to the nations that they're a part of. So all of these aspects are very, very important to consider. And I think the moving away from China, the decoupling of China, and understanding that India doesn't come with any particular baggage or devious intent. Then the Indian community here are positive contributors. Their size also in the last 7 to 8 years has actually grown up from 400,000 to 700,000. So, and they are actively contributing to the economy. STEM, in terms of skill sets, a lot of Indian students and Indian talent which can contribute positively to the Australian workforce. These are all aspects which become important. So there will be the security dynamic, the economic dynamic, the trade dynamic. All of these will be discussed, and of course the consideration set of certain extremist elements who are trying to get root in India, in Australia, and work towards destabilizing or challenging the sovereignty of India. I think that aspect is also going to be spoken about. Religious freedom, freedom of expression, Australia prides in it, and I think many people respect the fact that there is space for everyone. But impinging, interfering, and also vandalism, and also pushing these kind of secessionist activities is something which perhaps will be raised, and it will also be addressed. One aspect which stands out, and my conversations from both sides of the aisle, be it Labour ministers currently in government, or those who are shadow ministers, so who are part of the Liberals or the Conservative Party, or former governments. They have seen that in Australia, the political, there is a bipartisan view about engaging with India and the importance of engaging with India. And I think that is what stands out. They're cutting across the political lines. There is an understanding that there needs to be more active engagement with India. And India is not just a growing economy, but they're good friends. They're true friends in that matter with Australia. So education is going to be spoken about. Healthcare is going to be spoken about. Minerals and mines and raw material is going to be spoken about. All these aspects are important and which will have to be considered. I think there's just movement behind us. The entire media crew is being allowed inside to join the official media, and we will have to set up for the press statement. But it's a busy day for the Prime Minister. Let me quickly take you through what happens next. We have the bilaterals going on here. There is a joint statement that is expected soon after. The Prime Minister heads back to the Shangri-La Hotel where he is actually staying. And there, the basement is going to be the business roundtable, where he's going to meet top Australian businesses, business houses who are actively involved in engaging or investing in India, but or also have massive plans to invest and also engage with India, be it trade, be it infrastructure, be it direct investments, and I think that's going to be a very significant conversation. Around 3 p.m. or Sydney time, it's I know 6:15 in the morning for you, but add 4.5 hours. So 3:15 Sydney time, we are expecting a briefing by the MEA on the developments through the day, and thereafter I think it's leisure, because there is a special dinner that's going to be hosted for Prime Minister Narendra Modi with a select group of people, and I think beyond the Indian diaspora, the rest of the Australian community and some key members of the Indian diaspora will also be present there at that dinner, which will be hosted, or the venue for it is the Sydney Opera House. So that will make for a fantastic view, because sunset is around 5:15 here in Sydney, and soon after dinner, around 6:30 or 7 p.m, Prime Minister will embark or leave for the Sydney airport, from where 8 p.m. he heads back to India. 8 p.m. Sydney time, he heads back to India. So that's literally the run-through of what's been planned this Wednesday, or that is today.
Right. Thank you for all those details, Anand. That was really quite exhaustive. And we went through each and every point and what all is expected from these bilateral meets. And we're definitely looking forward to the joint statement from the two prime ministers once the bilateral meet is done. But